There are a variety of ways to access LearnSmart. The two most common ways is either from your dashboard where you can navigate your way to the chapter you want, or if an assignment has already been assigned to the student, you can find that here on the calendar or in their assignments list. So it'll be here on the dashboard if the assignment is for today, if it's including a date that's currently happening, or they can go to their assignments list or the calendar to see if it's maybe an assignment for a future date. So by clicking on the assignment here and then selecting view, the student will be brought to LearnSmart where they can click on it and head into LearnSmart. Now you'll notice this is called SmartBook. SmartBook and LearnSmart are kind of the same thing, so you're still in the right place. And here we'll be brought to the portion of the reading that we want or that has been assigned to you. So here you've been assigned as the student this whole chapter. And so I can see off to the left the overview of the pages in this chapter. Now, if we're just being asked to read lesson 1 or lesson 2, then you can see which pages are included in that. So once you get and navigate your way to the page that you want to read, you just click the 4 square up in the corner, and then that shrinks that side menu. Notice that this page is slightly grayed out, so if I just tap on it, it brings it to life. The purpose of LearnSmart is to give you a reading opportunity and a comprehension check to make sure that you're understanding the important concepts of the lesson and the chapter. So you start by reading through the pages, and then I just navigate to the next page. As I read through, you'll notice that these are the exact same pages that we have in our student print edition. So it's the exact same content, same pages, same page numbers and everything. As I scroll through, something a little bit different that you see in LearnSmart from your student book is that some of the content has been highlighted. And notice when I hover over it, it says this section is highlighted because it contains topics that are especially important for you. So we're going to give you a heads up in your first reading of the especially important content that you want to make sure you're really paying attention to. Eventually, as you work your way through the reading selection, and you're always going to want to kind of pay attention to, what pages or lesson you've been assigned. And once you get through so that was all of lesson 1, then you'll either be prompted or you can go yourself over to the practice. When I click on that practice box, LearnSmart is going to create questions based on what you've read so far. First, you want to pick your answer, and then you want to make a selection of how sure you are about that answer. LearnSmart will give you a correction, and you can keep going until you get to the next question. It will continue to tell you how accurate you are, as well as give you only so many questions as how far you've read so far. Now, if you're not sure about an answer and you'd like to know, you can always click the read about this, and that will take you exactly to the place in the text where you can read about it, come back to the question off to the left, give your answer, and how sure you are of your answer. Once you get to the point where the program has said, okay, these are all the questions that apply to the reading that you've done, you'll either be notified to head over to read more, or if you've gotten to the end of your lesson, then you can just complete your lesson at that point. But the thing I want to show you, I'm going to click the read button, is that once you've started answering some questions correctly, you will start to see highlights in green. This is adaptive, so this is going to highlight in green the content that you've proven you know through those questions we just answered in the practice phase. But as you continue to work your way through and you see that there is still some content in yellow that's content that you want to keep studying on and reading up on. So this really turns into like a study guide. Maybe you have a quiz coming up, or you've been asked to read a lesson and you're not sure if you understood or remembered the content that you were supposed to. You could go into LearnSmart, take the quiz, and it will provide you this feedback. But the nice thing again is that when you want to use this more like a study guide, your second time through after you did your practice problems, you can go in and just really study the content that is still in yellow. There's a variety of feedback and reports that you can get. I can hit this little hamburger menu in the upper left corner, and this can give me some support and instruction on how to use and work through SmartBook. So that's another one that you can use there. We can head back to to our student dashboard. And I just want to show you the other way that you can get to LearnSmart. So let's say you want to use LearnSmart now that you know how you could use it, studying for a test or reviewing what you've learned, but your teacher hasn't assigned it. You can always just from the dashboard head right over to LearnSmart, and then you would just need to pick which chapter and lesson you want to read up on. And then once you're in the LearnSmart or SmartBook program, I'm just going to let it load here. So it's picking up at the very beginning, but you can, let me see, it will let you go to the table of contents where you can pick which chapter you want to head into and then pick the lesson that you want to read over here. And from here, this is going to function exactly the way that I just showed you it would function. Now, the teacher will always get feedback. They can get feedback on how much time you've spent in here, how many questions you're getting wrong and right, what type of questions are getting wrong and right. So it's really beneficial for the teacher as well.